mom's ever seen one of the MCU movies.
Oh, now that's an interesting question. Do you guys know? I mean, maybe your mom. Anyone who doesn't watch the MCU movies.
I'm gonna ask my mom.
My parents have seen some of them.
Some of them.
Like this, either like the first of the movies,
right?
Or like I think they've seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
Good one.
Which is a good just standoff sci-fi.
Sure.
I don't know what else.
I've got a couple coworkers who are just like, I just don't like superhero movies, so they don't watch any of them. I'm like, that's.
Well, I would say they're missing out, but maybe not so much anymore. I don't know.
Luke dropping shade over here. What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another episode of the What the Fanboy Show.
I'm just a hater, bro. I'm just a hater now.
Over way to my left, so you skip this guy in the middle, and over here on the far left is Luke, the hater man. He hates all the things.
That's what they call me.
Ready to give every movie a dumpster fire.
If I have to.
Someone has to, right?
It's either a dumpster fire or a booyah. It's a 1-2 scale, baby, now.
Nothing in between.
It's the burden you bear.
That is my burden, and I must bear it alone.
I love it.
Oh, this is Tyler.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay.
To Luke's right, my left, it's Tyler.
We're off to a blazing hot start tonight. It's going to be a fun episode.
We didn't do a sound check, so we're going to have audio issues.
Check.
46 minutes in.
There's my sound check. We're good.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, on the other podcast I did not do a sound check, and the audio came out just absolutely trash.
Oh, no.
It's so bad. I love it. I won't tell you which episode it is.
Well, Tyler.
Did the audio match the team's current performance of the past season?
Yes.
So was it Texas?
Yes. Yes, it was a Texas specific episode. I will catch the alley-oop here. Yeah, so very quickly, I've been spending a decent bit of time watching baseball lately. The Orioles are absolutely on fire, and it's been a lot of fun.
Baseball.
Podcast specific activities. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. Been texting Luke about that as well. I finished Act 1 today. Luke and I kind of had a little side conversation about this movie. I don't know that this movie should happen anymore. If it were up to me, I would say don't do it. Just don't. This game is way too pretty and way too good to become a movie.
There's just so much.
Not everything needs to be transmedia.
Yeah, I don't think it should happen. If the trailers for this aren't good, I may never go see it.
Yeah.
There's so many great characters in the game.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're not going to get justice in a movie.
Right.
Like when we were texting about it, I was like, if it's going to be anything, it needs to be a show.
I would totally agree with that. But my preference would be they just don't do it. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima I haven't even beat it yet, and it's a booyah in my book. I don't even have to beat it to know that. This game's phenomenal. I can't wait for the sequel, because I'll probably finish this in the next few weeks.
Is the sequel announced?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've confirmed a sequel.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
that just jumped up on my most anticipated list.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that game so much. That's a top, definitely in 10.
I'll play it at some point when they re-release it on the PlayStation 7 with remastered.
Will you?
No, probably not. I need to.
Other than that, I played.
I have it on the PS4.
You have Ghost of Tsushima. You should play it.
I just never turn on the PlayStation.
This is what the new Assassin's Creed games were trying to do. Is what Ghost of Tsushima is.
Alright.
They just got too big. The other game I played was Marvel's Avengers.
That game came out like a year
2 years ago?
2 years ago?
About 2 years ago? Yeah, so for
idea.
backstory, I bought this game for my PlayStation because I was doing a pre-owned game sale at GameStop, and they were like, "Hey, you have 3 games, you get 1 free," and I was like, I walked around the store for like 20 minutes. And I was like, there is nothing I want. And they had like a copy of Avengers at the register, and I was like, yeah, I'll just take that. Sure. I don't know. So my plan was I'm gonna play this before Gotham Knights comes out because I've heard this game sucks. Hot take, I don't think this game sucks. I actually think it's pretty fun. I really like it. I think the story is so far fantastic.
Nice.
And I think I played the demo and I was like, I just don't really feel this. The stuff they add with Kamala Khan at the beginning and kind of just her story throughout the game is really good. They definitely do not tee it up right in the demo. The demo kind of undersold what they were going for. I have no idea how the multiplayer works because the mode I'm playing just says it's a one-player mode. I'm strictly playing the Avengers Reassemble story. And it's fun. I like it. I'm excited to keep playing it.
I feel like a lot of the complaints with it were outside of the narrative.
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right, I beat this story, and then like every single in-game,
Yeah, they
in
try to go like
quotations.
the quote-unquote looter shooter route.
Yeah, like every single thing is the same. So you're fighting AIM robots inside of a room, and that's it.
Yeah, I think so. If you're not familiar, the story they're going for is basically an event happens, the Avengers kind of get disbanded, and you play as Kamala Khan trying to bring the Avengers back together because the event that happened created the Inhumans, and AIM is hunting the Inhumans.
Did you play the part of the demo where it's Kamala and Hulk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that mission is way better than the here play as each Avenger.
Yeah. There's some other stuff after that too, where you're like in Kamala's apartment or house, and like you kind of see her. She has like her own little hidden lair. You play in Jersey City at the beginning. It's kind of cool. But yeah, no, that game is pretty fun. I mean, the bar was really low, so that probably helps.
Yeah.
But I look forward to spending more time with it. I really just plan to beat the campaign and kind of move on from it. But it gives me a lot of hope for Gotham Knights. Because I think these games are probably pretty similar in what they're going for. Gotham Knights is going more open world, though.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And then other than that, I saw Thor, Love and Thunder. And we'll talk about that later.
We're going to talk about that here in a minute.
Yep.
Before we get there, I did a few things this week. I watched The Sea Beast over on Netflix. It's their
Seabiscuit?
new
Seabiscuit?
new animated family-focused kids movie.
My mom has not seen an MCU movie.
All right.
She's like, what's a Maku?
No, she knows what they are. She's like, I just don't care to watch them. And I was like, cool.
Fair enough.
Noted.
So here's what I'll read you my tweet on The Sea Beast. I think The Sea Beast was a little bit of a letdown. There's a lot of potential that creatively refused to. I typed spread its wings, but there's a missed opportunity there.
There's a pun there.
For a pun, underwater.
Spread its fins.
Yeah. Anyways, the first 30 minutes were the most interesting. The second act was devoid of conflict or choice, and the third act was just preachy.
That's a kids movie, right?
So it is, but I think the second act is where it just gets boring. There's not a lot of, like I said, choice.
Sounds like another movie I watched.
There's not a lot of action, and like there doesn't. Like, I think you could have maybe one of those without the other. Like, I think you could have, I think choice is important no matter what, but you don't have to have action if you have interest or interesting conflict of another sort, and this just didn't have that.
Would you rather watch this or Luca?
Luca. Oh, yeah.
I thought he loved Luca.
I do love Luca.
That's why he said he'd rather watch Luca.
Okay.
It's kind of about a sea beast. Luca.
2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, 5.
There's
a lot
like
of them.
A bunch of them.
Whole nation of them.
I do think the cast in The Sea Beast was pretty good. It was pretty good music. And honestly, I think the animation, for the most part, was pretty well done. Visually, it looks good. I don't think the titular Sea Beast, whose name is Red, looks that interesting. they do the thing that they do with all like animal characters that need to show emotion, which is we need to give it a more human face, like flatten it. And it's just kind of a soft, squishy,
Big cartoon eyes?
big cartoon eye creature that looks visually uninteresting.
Sounds like you hate this
I wouldn't say I hate it, but I did think that.
movie. Is this the sea beast?
Yeah.
So what's that one?
Yeah, what's this?
That's the
beast?
one they fight at the beginning of the movie. That's really freaking awesome.
What's that one?
Which one?
That one.
Oh,
That's Stitch.
That's the.
Is this movie just Lilo and Stitch?
Of course, there's a little sea beast that just is there for comedic effect, and the main character hauls
Looks like
around
the
because
dragon from
it's the cute
Shrek.
it's the cute thing that they can sell plushies for.
Are you gonna buy one?
No. Ultimately, it's a Matthew McConaughey. I think it's fine. Little bit of a disappointment. Most kids would enjoy it. Claire enjoyed it. So.
Claire was standing on the couch going, "Yeah, sea beast rules. I want to be a sea beast."
The other thing I watched over on Netflix this week was a documentary called Pirate Gold of Adak Island.
I'm intrigued.
It is a 8-episode modern treasure hunt. It takes place in 2020. So 200 years ago, apparently this Viking sealer, no, not Viking, Russian sealer, buried like $360 million worth of gold on this island as he was escaping, and then died right after he did it.
Classic.
And for a long time, there was a U.S. military Navy base on the island, so no one was like allowed to dig anywhere. And so now that the Navy has like evacuated that, they're like trying to dig, and the mayor of this town brings in this team to try and find the island so that they can hopefully revitalize the town, and because it's in like complete disarray and whatnot. So it's kind of interesting.
But was it good?
They don't find anything.
That's good. Now we can go find it. That's good.
So I do think that it ends in an interesting place, but they take a little too long to get there for what they're doing. I think this probably is a 5 or 6 episode show rather than an 8 episode show. The pacing is really slow, and they do find something at the by the end.
It's like some dude's underwear.
So, they find lots of trash, tons of trash. And actually, one of the interesting things, is that they do, because it was an old Navy base. There's tons of unexploded ordnance, just like buried.
Oh, that's cool.
So they like the first place they dig, they like find this unexploded bomb, and they're like, we can't dig here for like a week because they have to fly someone in to detonate it.
That's so cool.
So then they, then they have to go
too.
and they have to explore other areas. So, I think it fits nicely into a streamer. I'm gonna give it a straight to streaming. It's fine. Not a bad like, oh, I'm cooking dinner. I kind of want to watch/listen to something.
Maybe
Alaska's beautiful. So this is up in the Alaska, I don't know, island belt or what chain up there. So it's a really beautiful place, and they're up against the clock because at a certain point the ground gets too hard to dig in, the ground freezes. So that's where they kind of end the season at and set up a potential season 2 if it does well enough.
Gotta milk it.
Set up a season 2 for a documentary series.
I mean, Tiger King did it.
I guess that's true.
So, and then the last thing I did was watch. I also watched Thor, but we'll talk about that later. The Boys, season 3.
The Boys.
Luke and I, should we talk about The Boys real quick?
I
Tyler hasn't seen it.
I think we should.
So we'll put
We're gonna
earmuffs on.
talk about as much as we can and be as vague as possible, so we don't ruin it for Tyler.
Thank you. I have a hard time watching this right now because I can't watch it with I don't want to watch it with my kid around because she kind of repeats.
Enough.
She repeats like sounds and stuff now, and so Butcher uses the C word enough that I feel like she might pick that up.
Very fair.
So I've not been able to really watch it unless it's like late at night, and usually that means I'm gonna play games.
Yeah.
So,
Luke, what were your initial thoughts on The Boys season 3?
I think this is the best season by far. I think they gave us 2 of the best episodes of The Boys this season. Yeah, and I love the satirical political takes they keep taking and just making fun of everything.
Yeah.
I think it's super well done. Just mainly because it is so in your face.
Yeah.
Like they're not trying to hide it at all.
They're not being
and
subtle
it's
about
great.
it. Not that they ever were, but like
yeah, but like this season especially, they're like, we are making fun of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think the funniest bit is when they make fun of the whoever Jenner Pepsi commercial
Oh my god.
with A-Train.
Oh. Dude, they do so much good stuff with A-Train.
It was great.
This
The other great bit is the Gal Gadot
Imagine
video with the Deep. Oh my gosh, that was some great stuff. I think the new additions to the cast were awesome. Jensen Ackles was freaking good.
Jensen Ackles was a fantastic addition.
He's a horrible person, but Homelander is still like the best character.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say it like that. Anthony Starr is the best. In his performance as Homelander. Because Homelander is horrible. He's horrible.
This is one of those performances, him this season, I think specifically, like, let's talk about an Emmy nom at least.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Mm-hmm. I think he's up there. I think you could have him in the conversation. Obviously, we have to wait till it's over.
Right.
Of one of the best villains ever.
Oh, mm-hmm.
The emotional switch ups he has to constantly go through, and they're like never a good emotion for him to go through. Man, I hope like it doesn't mess up Anthony Starr's head, like he's doing all this stuff.
Right, like Heath Ledger and the Joker.
Yeah, or just Jared Leto in general.
Touche, sir. Touche.
But man, he is so good.
Yeah, and I think they surround him with really interesting stories. You know, obviously this is based off of the graphic novel, and I've not read that, so I can't tell you how much is pulled from that, how much is
I haven't read
not.
it either.
But
yet.
you know how. I think he and Butcher just have this really fascinating and complicated relationship.
Whenever they have a conversation, it's electrifying.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a conversation, like it can just be like 1 or 2 words.
Yeah. And it gets even more so at the end of this season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Starlight and Huey. I think their relationship is it took some much needed steps in the right direction in terms of figuring out exactly who they are as a couple this season, and the realistic stress of dating someone who is a superhero and who has a national voice, and you know, how does that affect your relationship? I thought they did a really good job there with that. And then, you know, I think that they just had a lot of fun with The Deep and Black Noir. I was really impressed with how they used both those characters this season.
The Black Noir origin story was amazing.
Yeah.
With the cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
It was great. It was like it's almost like a little Invincible Easter egg because it's the same producers.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know if I had...
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's what it reminded me. It was just this brutal, violent cartoon.
Yeah.
For one episode, kind of. Yeah, I love Kimiko and Frenchie.
Yeah.
I love their relationship. I think just overall they've done a really good job of building relationships through things, not just like, now we're a couple.
Yeah.
Because the story
demands it. Or when we talk about choice, all of these characters make interesting choices. I think makes some fascinating choices, and I think his storyline going forward is going to be one of the more
intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Just with his whole family,
the family dynamic, because you
stepdad.
You don't have that in any of the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a family relationship that's outside of a couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so to see a family that's that divided on viewpoints and
yeah.
Oh, I'm not saying things so I don't spoil things, not because
I'm really curious how the dad's demise will come. If it will just be like, I'm leaving you, or if he's gonna be exploded. Because honestly, I feel like at this point he's like become the most hated character in the show. Just with the end.
Yeah. For sure.
As far as things that I dislike with the show, I think the only thing I dislike is Ryan. I know he's a kid, and I don't just want to trash a kid, but he's not that good.
Yeah, it's hard for me to tell how much is inexperience versus what he's given. He's not given
first direction.
He's not given that much to do. What he is given is fairly like, you have to look angry. You have to look sad. It's that kind of thing. And for the most part, he is just kind of treated like a MacGuffin.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have they talked about season 4 and if it's like if it's going to take place right after, if there'll be a time jump.
I don't think they've talked about it.
Because I think him being a little older could be really interesting, but I just don't think we'll get there if we kind of keep it this pace.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess they do have that. They do kind of hint how long certain characters may have to live.
Mm-hmm.
In the last episode.
Yeah, that's right.
So
we have a timetable now.
We probably will be there.
The other super intriguing storyline, I think, is A-Train.
Mm-hmm.
Going forward, I really liked his development this season. Instead of just like being part of the 7 in the first 2 seasons, and where he's like, oh, he's just a superhero and he's kind of a douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they did a good job of giving him a story and development and watching his character change and go through things.
All of those characters that are a part
Same
of
with
the
Maeve. I freaking love Maeve.
Have really interesting storylines this season. They're all given things to do. They all make interesting choices that make sense for their characters and propel them in new directions. So, agreed. I think the one through line that I thought it'll be really important next season, but it was there at the beginning, kind of dipped away and came back at the very end, was the
senator lady. Yeah.
We didn't see nearly as many heads explode as I thought we would this season. So, which at the end of the day, I think it's fine, because the rest of everything else was so phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not sad about it. It was just interesting that it was all of a sudden it's like 3 or 4 episodes. Oh, where'd she go?
I'm curious if the season will be, because at the end they're like, pull your ears. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. It's spoiler. Minor spoiler, yes. They're just like, looks like we're gonna have to kill her.
Yeah.
And like, is that gonna be the plot line of the season, or will it be are we gonna kill the superhero, or are we gonna turn the superhero? Because I feel like they kind of have a couple different options moving forward with different characters.
Yeah.
Because now, this is why I think season 3 is the best season. Well, I love seasons 1 and 2. every superhero is just bad. But now they've just got a lot going on, and you can see they don't really know what to do a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Except for Homelander. He's evil. He's a bad person.
I think my...
and he still has a lot going on.
My main con for season 3 is that they do some stuff. It's in the promos, so I'm not spoiling anything. They do some stuff with giving non-soups temporary powers.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they kind of yada yada over any consequences. Especially
kind of
in the last 2 episodes, there's this big we have to you need to stop using it type of thing, or someone's gonna end up dead, and where they end it never gave me really a sense of I'm worried about this character.
For me, it was for one of the characters using it. They ended the episode, I think, at the wrong time. They ended it where they did. Sorry, this is super vague. I'm trying not to ruin it, Tyler. And they should have done it in the gas station.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it should have ended. Because it was it ended, and then 2 minutes into the next episode, they changed it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Should just put those together.
Right.
But yeah.
Real quick over in the chat, JT says that they've departed from the comic pretty drastically. So I don't have a problem with that. I think it's okay for 2 different mediums to tell 2 different stories, mostly just due to, the cost of making this show and the time constraints you have. You can tell, and you can still tell a good story that gets the same themes across.
Yeah, and it seems like people are pretty happy with the story. If I'm wrong, JT, let me know.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I never really hear somebody going, man, the Boys show sucks because it's not the same as the comic. Right. I feel like people are just man, the Boys is really freaking good.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Luke?
Nope, I'm good.
What do you rate it? You said it's the best one yet.
Quality-wise, it's a booyah.
Yeah.
The problem is some people just won't be able to sit through it because it is so violent. There's so much language and sexual content, especially this season. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So if you can take it, I think you're really going to like it, especially since it's just an antithesis to all the superhero movies we get now.
Yeah.
Man, it's just so good. If you can't handle extreme violence and language and all that stuff, I don't think you'll be watching it.
No,
so.
Probably not. Probably not. I'm gonna give it a fanboy worthy. I don't think it's quite up on the top of the list in terms of. I think I like season 1 a little better, but that may just be. We talk about this all the time. The first of anything, it's just hard to top it.
Mm-hmm.
But they do some really interesting things this season that I really love. So it's no knock on the season. Just maybe wasn't quite my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch it. Luke, what else did you do this week?
Oh, I did quite a bit, let me tell you. I watched a lot of shows. First one that I finished was the Umbrella Academy Season 3. I can't remember if I talked about it a little bit last week or not. I know I hadn't finished it, though. I thought Season 3 of the Umbrella Academy was pretty good. It starts off really strong, and then I felt like it kind of dragged in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because, I don't know, Allison is just not an enjoyable character this season. They WandaVision her.
Oh.
Wanda Multiverse of Madness her. She's not she didn't touch a book and go crazy, but she's just feels super evil this season, and it's just, I don't know, I didn't like it.
Sure.
It's super subjective, whatever. the Sparrow Academy, who are the new characters, I thought were a lot of fun. The music is great. The action was okay. I feel like it kind of took a step down.
Oh.
Because like in season 1, there's this really awesome scene with Five in this donut shop where he's teleporting all around and killing a bunch of people, and it was great. And I feel like it may have just been the editing didn't feel as crisp this season. It felt slow. Like it looked like, okay, I'm watching people pull their punches on a movie set.
Oh.
But the last couple episodes are really good. I love where it ended up. The last episode was a ton of fun. And the best part of the show will always be Five and Klaus. They're the best characters, hands down. And I feel like a lot of people will agree with me on that. Klaus is hilarious, and his powers are awesome. He learns a little bit more about his powers this season, and watching him do that was a ton of fun. Five is just hilarious because it's this like 15 to 20-year-old actor who's playing an old man. So it's a ton of fun. He can teleport. But it was good.
All right.
It was good. I'd give it a fanboy worthy still.
I saw the dance scene.
The opening fight is amazing. And they just do Footloose against each other.
Oh my gosh.
For a little bit. It's that one's been all over TikTok and Twitter and Instagram, and I've watched it a couple times because it's really fun. What's another show that I watched? Oh yeah, I watched The Eternalist. I remember talking about this a little bit last week.
You mentioned it, yeah.
You finished it though?
I did. This show was fantastic. If you want to see Chris Pratt act, watch it. Because he's really freaking good. This is not Parks and Rec Chris Pratt. It's not Guardians of the Galaxy Pratt. Not Jurassic World Pratt. This is like Navy SEAL. I'm furious at the world Chris Pratt. And he does some really good acting, man. And I was really tearing up at the end. I don't want to give too much away about the story. Because like the end of the first episode, you'll just be like, "Oh my gosh, what?" The end of the show, I thought was really good. I cried, but I was hoping that something else would happen. I wasn't like super disappointed.
Is it a like a one and done, or are they setting up?
Oh, it's got to be done.
Okay. I have no problem with that. I love it when a show can come in, tell a
it's based off a book
story. Okay, so yeah, probably then.
Yeah. The supporting cast is great. It's got some brutal violence in it, especially one scene. Yeah, I was like, oh gosh. It's kind of shadowed, but you can tell what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
But man, it was really good, and I was just really impressed with Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Because he's never done anything like this. I really encourage people to check it out.
I was gonna say it sounds like a good reminder that you don't have to typecast actors all the time. Like the reason Chris Pratt typically plays that character is because that's the studio's like, he made money in that, so let's make him do that again.
Yeah.
No.
There's 3 books.
There's 3 books. Do they all star the same dude?
I don't know. I don't want to look because it'll spoil the end of the.
I'll look it up when we go into news.
Okay.
But yeah, I encourage people to check that out. I think it's a booyah. Maybe a high fanboy worthy. We'll go high fanboy worthy.
Good, better, or as good?
Better than Reacher.
Okay. That's where I was going.
I would say it's better than Reacher.
Nice.
What else?
What else? I just today actually watched Operation Mincemeat on Netflix. I don't know if anybody remembers this trailer.
I remember talking about it, being like, "Ooh, that looks really interesting." We never watched it.
Yeah, it's about this operation that takes place during World War II, where they're trying to give a dead body fake orders so that they will move German troops away from this beach they're trying to invade in Italy. It's a super cool premise. Ian Fleming is one of the characters.
Interesting.
And they keep like making Bond. And honestly, that was probably my favorite part of the movie. The trailer gave it like this quirky, like not like comedy vibe, but that there was going to be funny stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it's like this love triangle movie in between Colin Firth, another dude who's, I don't know the actor, and some lady that seems way too young for them both. And they're fine, but like I'm interested in the operation they're doing, and they keep going off and
having a love story.
Like everybody felt like the Ducky character, and I'm just like, who cares, man? What is happening on the beach? What's going on? I don't care that you're in love with this girl, but your wife is in America. It was fine. The coolest part was that Ian Fleming was one of the characters, and you could tell he was like starting to write Bond.
Nice.
I guess I'd give it a straight to streaming. It's where it belongs.
Fair enough.
And then I started 3 things. So I won't talk very much on these. One is the show Blackbird. It's a Taron Egerton show on Apple TV. Yep. Where he's working for the FBI to get a confession out of a serial killer. The first 2 episodes are up. It was fantastic. I can't wait to watch more. They come out on Fridays. The other show I started, which I didn't even realize had come out, was Only Murders in the Building Season 2.
Oh, I started that as well.
Man, that show
it's really good.
Is so good. I love that show.
Really, really good.
And the last thing I did is I started playing Plague Tale Innocence, which is the Black Plague Rats game. And it's really cool. It's like this stealth game. You gotta hold your little brother's hand and like lift them through windows and stuff because they're trying to kill him. But then there's like these bloodthirsty rats everywhere, and you gotta stay in the light. It's pretty cool. The rats they freak me out, man. They're like in these gross hordes, just like screeching around. You're just like, gross.
How's the sound design in it? It's gotta be.
It's
decent,
pretty
right?
good. Yeah. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm like 4 chapters in out of the 15, I think, and they're pretty short. But
all right,
it's on Game Pass. So
real quick, JT over in the chat is calling you out. Blasphemy, Luke. Reacher is the best. LOL.
I don't know why that's blasphemy.
You just said the Terminal List was better than Reacher.
It was.
Oh. All right, shots fired back, JT.
I don't know why that's blasphemy.
And then back to the boys real quick. Nick said it felt like there was so little power usage in this season. And I agree to a certain extent. I think we get less of the big scenes.
We get less of like Homelander's powers.
But we have more of the temp V stuff.
Side note, Starlight has the worst powers.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It's just mainly unfortunate for like their team because they need a hammer.
Nick was correction. Nick was talking about Umbrella Academy for power usage.
Oh yes,
Or less power usage in Umbrella.
The
Academy.
only powers
Thank you, Nick, for correcting me.
that really get used are Klaus's is the like only focus of powers throughout the show.
Yeah.
The worst powers in that show are Diego, who throws knives and can bend them, but you can't tell he's using his powers. It's like, I feel like we can add a little visual flair or make him throw something different around a corner so you know he's like doing something. It just looks like he's throwing knives.
But even without powers,
actually,
he's me on Tsushima.
Still good seeds.
Some of the coolest powers are Lila's. Her powers are if she's close to somebody who has powers, she can mimic their powers, which is super cool.
Mimicry.
How many times can we fit powers in a sentence?
I got the power. All right. Trailers.
Luke, hit us with the 4 trailers.
Luke's got them written down, so he's in charge tonight.
We watched the teaser for Paper Girls and talked about it last week. And then they released the full trailer.
Thumbs up.
I'm super excited for this. Comes out July 29th. Show looks awesome. The comic is awesome. Did you finish the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's great.
I'm like halfway through the second one right
now. Another trailer was Amsterdam.
Thumbs up.
Oh, big thumbs up.
David O. Russell movie.
Looks fantastic.
My gosh.
Stacked out of its
cast.
mind. It's got Margot Robbie, Christian Bale. That's enough.
And like 10 others.
Robert De Niro, Rami Malek,
Anya Taylor-Joy,
John David Washington.
Oh yeah,
it's loaded.
All kinds of people in it.
So good. It's gonna be awesome. Hope.
The Woman King, starring Viola Davis.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
I think this looks awesome. It got me pretty hype. And Skull and Bones.
Oh yeah, so this is a video game.
Yeah.
That everyone thought was dead, and will probably
die once it's released.
I would say my one of my 2023 predictions will probably be Skull and Bones.
I can't wait for PlayStation.
Delayed.
Canceled.
I can't wait for like the PlayStation people who are like Xbox sucks are gonna brag that it's on the Ubisoft thing that PlayStation Plus people get, and then like no one plays it. I can't wait for that. I have both. I like them both. They're awesome, but people will use anything as
Oh yeah, anything, any reason to complain, right?
Yeah. Or to tell people their console's better than the other person's.
My console's better than your console.
That's cool.
Mine is worse.
I have all of them, so.
Yeah.
Mine is worse because it makes this noise every time.
Yeah, yours does like kerthunk when you start it. It sounds
does.
like a car with a bad like head.
I even sent it in, and they were like, "Nothing's wrong with it." I'm like, "You liars!"
What was I gonna look up?
Technically, it still it runs all the games just fine. So,
I was gonna look something up.
Books.
Oh yeah.
Well, then we can move into news. Tyler, hit us with their first news story.
Only Murders in the Building season 3 has already been picked up at Hulu.
Let's
no
go!
Surprise.
Yeah, that was a kind of a foregone conclusion. I feel like.
Yeah, that show is awesome. So.
Respawn is hiring for an Apex Legends single-player first-person shooter game.
There's 5 books.
Nice. Reissues are also counted sometimes.
The Terminal List, A True Believer, Savage Son.
I am just really happy that Apex is doing well enough that they can justify putting a team together to make a single-player game.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll play
Respawn's single-player games have been awesome. Their campaigns have been awesome. So to see what they do with Apex, with the unique abilities that characters have, and
you want to know the best bonus of this? They've already fleshed out the backstory on all their characters.
Yeah.
So they can tell whatever story they want within that universe with those characters and not have to do a ton of legwork.
Yep.
Which is really nice.
Yep. They can just focus on the story.
Yep.
The second book has the James Reese character in it,
so potentially.
So season 2, here we go, baby. All right, I'm on board. I'm on board. Kind of negates one of my things that I was like almost disappointed about. It's irrelevant now. So.
Thank you for looking that up, Luke.
No problem.
Clearing the.
They're on Amazon for a price. I didn't look.
Am I still going?
Sure.
Miles Teller confirms he's in discussions with Tom Cruise about a potential Top Gun 3. Don't need it, but I'll watch it if it happens.
Yeah, kind of the same. I mean,
same.
I think Tom Cruise is. It does not surprise me that they're.
It was 3rd at the box office this week.
That's crazy.
With $50 million.
That's crazy.
How much has it made now? $3 billion?
It's over $1 billion for sure. We know that. But
yeah.
I don't know how much.
No, they'll explore anything to make more money, and if they can tell a good story, I'm okay with it. But
I trust that team.
Yeah, more than most other teams. So
Does Josh Giddey look exactly like Timothy Chalamet?
Next, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are returning for the Echo Show on Disney Plus. I think we kind of already knew this, but they just confirmed it.
Yeah, I think this was more of just a.
Anybody else nervous?
I would be nervous if what they'd put out recently was good, but I'm not. I'm kind of losing interest in whatever they're doing.
I'm excuse me. I'm less nervous about this because it's not like a MCU titular character that we've seen. You know, it's kind of like with where I'm at with Miss Marvel right now, which I haven't watched. I haven't caught up in the last episode, so I have this episode or the last episode, and then this week is the finale. Yeah. But like I've enjoyed what they've done with her because it's been so disconnected from everything else. That's kind of would be my hope for the Echo Show, is that it's just kind of its own little thing in New York, and they can tell hopefully a really interesting story around that. I don't know if it'll be good.
The thing that I think makes me more interested in it is I thought Hawkeye was really good. And if it's more of that kind of feel, then I'm on board
for sure.
Last thing I have, E3 will return as an in-person event in 2023, and it is now owned by ReedPop, who puts on PAX.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
So, kind of a big deal. They also do Star Wars Celebration, and
I was gonna say that actually maybe makes it slightly more intriguing. Yeah. Not that I have ever gone or will ever go, but I've been to PAX, and I think they put on great showcases there. So
yeah, I had heard that E3 was coming back, and I was like, oh cool. And then I was listening to Kind of Funny, and they were talking about ReedPop, and they were like, yeah, they do all these things, and I was like, oh, those are all good events.
They know what they're doing, so
I'm curious what it'll look like when it comes back.
If they can get some of the publishers on board to show up and bring some new things, I think they have a potential hit on their hands.
They have to battle Keeley too, though.
That's true.
That will be the challenge.
That's true.
Because Keeley has the foothold.
He filled that void very well.
And quickly.
Yes.
So.
Indeed.
That's all I got.
I got a few things. Salem's Lot, that's the Stephen King novel being developed into a movie, is delayed until spring of next year.
Who's... Carry on.
Oh, no, what was your question? Who's doing it?
Yeah.
I think it's Warner, but I'm not sure who's directing. But,
is it the Invisible Man guy?
Oh, that would be interesting.
No, he's doing Wolfman.
Yeah, that's right. In other slight delay / maybe not delay, but movie release date news, Dune 2 got moved from October of 2023 to November of 2023. I'm not sure how this movie is going to get done in 2023.
I believe.
I want to believe, but do they have... I mean, I guess the movies... They've known they were going to do a sequel for a while, so hopefully that...
It was just you that didn't know. You were the only person who didn't know.
I was the only person in the entire world who didn't believe this was going to be a 2-part movie.
This is
even though we told you multiple times. Dune, part 1. What? What is this?
That was my exact reaction in the movie theater.
Lewis Pullman's in this movie.
Oh. Interesting. The Salem's Lot movie. Yeah.
Rhett and Bob.
Along with the Dune 2 news, the new Godzilla / Kong movie is slated officially for 2024.
Kong guy
not
his revenge.
Not Kong v Godzilla, because they done fighting each other probably.
Now they're homies.
Now they BFFs. Best friends that...
Who are they gonna fight? And we know we've talked about this already. We were like looking up all the Godzilla monsters.
Well, Ghidorah's gotta come back, right?
Somehow, yeah.
Somehow.
Bring in the Ghidorah from the anime one.
Please,
like
please,
the space dragon coming out through the wormholes.
Please just let it be a opening like text. Somehow Ghidorah returned.
Oh. Can they fight?
It's all the explanation we need.
Can we just have Kong and Godzilla have to team up against the Shin Godzilla, the one that you watched, where it was like turning into little people?
Yes, please. I'm down.
Who would win though? Because the Shin Godzilla will adapt.
Constantly evolve. That's the thing. It always adapts. So,
whoever wins, we lose.
I would not be surprised if they throw another.
What's that from? Is it from Alien vs. Predator?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Even though the Predators were like definitely on our side in that movie.
Michael Bay signs a new first look deal with Universal. That doesn't really surprise me.
Not Paramount?
Not Paramount, Universal.
Wow.
But he did a lot of work with Universal on Transformers and stuff, so...
That was Paramount.
Yeah, those are Paramount movies.
Why are they at the Universal lot when you go to Universal Studios, Florida?
Maybe...
I mean, Paramount doesn't have their own...
So is Spider-Man. And the Hulk.
Quiet
the Hulk
you.
Makes sense, but...
Quiet you.
Yeah.
Stop thinking logically.
Amusement park rides rights are not the same.
If Disney had their way, they would be.
But they don't right now.
For the most part. Okay, well, he's with you. The point of the new story is he's with Universal now, at least first look. So
Ambulance 2 coming your way.
Ambulance.
I still need to watch Ambulance 1.
Yeah, same. James Cameron
I love that you're titling an Ambulance 1 as if this Ambulance 2 is a foregone conclusion.
We're definitely getting an Ambulance 2. And they're going to tie in Mockingbird or whatever it was.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
That thing.
Turns out it all took place during the pandemic and somebody's just having a weird dream. Gyllenhaal's having a weird dream.
It's a dream. Yeah, it's a dream from having COVID.
James Cameron is considering not directing the final 2 Avatar films. So currently, Way of the Water is slated for Christmas of this year.
Yeah.
And then whatever number 3 is will be in 2024.
Did you see him yelling at people about how people were like, your movies are too long? And he was just like, you will binge watch a 10-hour show. Shut up. Shut up.
I didn't see that.
It was so good.
Wonderful. I love it. Oh, that's great.
That's one James Cameron moment I'm on board with.
I'm interested. Right? Yeah. I'm interested to who would follow up with James Cameron.
That's what I'm curious about. Like, what director makes sense?
I don't know. I'm wondering, though, if he's kind of starting to feel his age and realizes maybe he wants to do something other than Avatar for, like, his final couple movies.
Titanic 2.
Oh, God. Oh, shoot.
The Space Titanic. Can we just get a James Cameron remake of the Futurama episode about the Titanic 2? I want that.
There's a joke in Homecoming, the Amazon show, about Titanic 2, and I can't remember it, and I'm a little sad right now.
Oh, that is a bummer.
That was a good show.
My last news story is Marvel has tapped Julius Ona to direct Captain America 4. Cool.
He directed Cloverfield Paradox. I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch that either.
I heard it was
not good.
Yeah, but I mean,
at this point, and like this is no. How do I want to say this? I don't say this to like throw shade at, young or new up and coming. You don't have to be young to be up and coming, but like a fairly inexperienced director in Hollywood that attaches themselves to a Marvel project. But like it is pretty formulaic now.
Yeah.
Like I hope they bring him in because he's got some unique ideas and he's got a style that he really wants to do, but like I just haven't seen that. Because even when they do allow Sam Raimi to throw some Sam Raimi things in there, it's just like, oh, there's just some Sam Raimi things in this Marvel movie. Not, this is a Sam Raimi movie. Same thing with Thor 4, Love and Thunder, which we'll talk about in a minute. Like, Yeah, it's like got some Taika stuff in it, but it's still a Marvel movie. Like it still feels like the formula.
Mm-hmm.
For better or worse.
To follow up, James Cameron
is going to direct a Marvel movie?
No. You had said
Thor
I wonder
5.
what director would do the last two or could do the last two. I guess somebody James Cameron has always been really impressed with is Ron Howard.
Oh.
I wouldn't be opposed.
I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
So.
Especially because he probably won't be coming in to fix a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Solo. He'd be just doing the movie.
I don't like Solo at all, but I'll always stand by Ron Howard because he made
director.
He made Apollo 13. That's the only movie I need to defend him. The only one. I freaking love that movie.
Yeah.
JT, I did watch the Clerks 3 trailer. I've not seen Clerks 1 or 2. Sideways Thumb.
It looks like it's on par with the...
It looks like a Kevin Smith movie.
It does look like a Kevin Smith movie, which, if you love Kevin Smith movies, probably a big thumbs up. But
yeah.
If you don't, my guess is you won't care about it.
Right.
Yeah,
sorry,
I didn't watch a trailer. And
that's fine. So. That's fine. Luke, did you have any news stories?
I have one to add. This is maybe just for me at this point. I don't know. But Bungie hired somebody in their transmedia department.
Yeah.
Lauren Topol, who's a senior producer now, and she has worked on The Mandalorian, Tomorrow War, Wall-E, Up, and The Dragon Prince, or some other things.
Wonder what they're gonna do next.
So, just give me my Destiny animated show, please.
Just be patient. It's coming.
Just...
Lance Reddick is recording in his closet
I will gladly,
right now.
As we speak.
Yeah.
I will gladly be patient for this. I just want to know what's coming. Just tell me, it will come in 2025 once
You'll get
Final Shape is done.
It'll be announced at the Game Awards this year. That's where they would do something like that.
I thought they were going to do it on Bungie Day. And they didn't do anything on Bungie Day. Well, they announced charity stuff.
And they had some store sales and... Or was it, I don't know.
Gjallarhorn's on sale now.
Yeah.
It's $185 Nerf rocket launcher. Gosh, I want it bad. I want it bad.
Of course you do.
Dude, it's 2 scale.
I mean...
it looks so cool.
It is pretty dope.
I'd probably paint it normal colors, though.
Yeah.
Black and gold.
Fair enough.
I don't want that nasty orange.
Yeah, that Nerf look. Okay, well, I think it is time we can move into our Thor Love and Thunder review. We'll start with non-spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, feel free to stick around for at least a little bit, get our initial impressions.
Dude.
And we'll...
Dude, it looked freaking sweet, right?
We'll move into spoilers here in a little bit, but we'll let you know when that
cool.
that transition is happening.
I want it so bad.
Luke and Tyler are over here drooling.
We're looking at Nerf guns.
The Gjallarhorn.
Gjallarhorn!
So... Thor, Love and Thunder. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. It was fine. I'm done. I don't care anymore. Okay, I'll expand. I'm so tired of just saying the same things for every Marvel movie. There. Now I'm done. Now you guys can go.
Very quickly, I'll just say my tweet review. Any serious message this movie wants to convey is covered by lackluster humor.
Ooh. I didn't write out a fancy thing, but I think...
Is that fancy?
Yes, very.
Oh.
I have a bullet list on my tweet, but I'm not going to read my bullet list. What I will say is I think that the movie does a couple interesting things. And has some interesting has one interesting character that I really liked. I think Christian Bale is a great addition to this story specifically. But overall, it's 2 hours. It's not even that long of a movie, but it just
felt kind of long to me.
It feels long. It's overstuffed with quippiness and a kind of disconnected or disjointed plot. Yeah, I'm kind of with Luke. It's fine. I think for most people it'll be entertaining, but it doesn't. I agree with Tyler. Anything it's trying to say, it doesn't do it effectively.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it, I guess. I don't know. It's just, I watched it.
I kind of hated it. I'll be that guy.
Do you have any... Do you want...
No, I'm the hater. It's either a dumpster fire or a booyah.
Before we get into our cons, let's talk about what we liked about it.
Christian Bale.
The GOAT.
Done. That's it.
Sorry, when I say the GOAT in this interview, I'm talking about Christian Bale.
Yes.
Because he's one of the best actors ever.
Yes.
Not the screaming goat?
No, screw that GOAT, dude. That GOAT sucked. Both of them.
Did you see Taika said it's from the Taylor Swift thing? That's why he did it, because he saw that video and he thought it was funny. So he was like, I'm going to put that in the movie.
That came out when I was when we were in college.
Yeah.
When I was in college.
Nothing like pulling out 10-year memes and throwing
The
them in
producer showed it to him. He's like, yeah, let's do it. I think
that's how most of this movie was made.
They found a 12-year-old YouTube video and
no, Taika was like, that looks funny. Let's do it.
pros.
Real quick.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, fantastic. I actually think he's too good for this movie.
Me too.
It's
and they skip over the most interesting part of his character. Like they do the thing where they show you him like becoming at the very beginning, like getting the sword, the necro blade,
the necro sword,
and then we just jump to he's the big bad, and we don't. I think it would be really interesting to set stakes to actually have him. Witness him actually kill a god.
We see him kill one god,
and the god that he kills is a big goober.
Well,
I'm a goofy
90% of the characters in this movie are big goobers.
There's only one character in this movie who isn't a goober.
And it's Christian.
It's Christian Bale. Man, Christian Bale though, it's like he's the best part of this movie. He was creepy.
Yeah.
Especially visually.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's weird. I'm like, I wish I got more of him, but at the same time, I feel like if there would have been more of him, he wouldn't have been as good as he was. It's just this weird seesaw I'm on.
Yeah. I love that he's not a giant CGI monster. Looking at his design in the comics, they could have leaned more in that direction. But I'm kind of glad they didn't. I'm glad that he's a guy with a sword, and he has abilities. I'm not quite sure how he gets around so quickly. Apparently, everyone now has just teleportation machines.
Space magic, baby.
Don't need that rainbow road unless you're Thor. Then you need it.
They needed it to expand the runtime.
But yeah, by far, Christian Bale's the best part of this movie. I think, like you said, he's creepy. He brings a nice, ominous presence, especially around. He has some scenes with a group of children. I thought was especially
dude.
Well done.
He was creepy in that scene.
Yes.
And what they do with him and the Shadow Realm, I think, because that's kind of part of who his character is really really fun and fascinating, and not something I was expecting in a Marvel movie. So I thought that worked really well.
My other pro is the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, Shadow Realm. Yeah.
It was the most visually pleasing part of the movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best action sequence of the movie.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
You guys have done twice at the same time.
We're the umbros. Always got Destiny on the mind.
So I also enjoyed, and this is like one of those pro-con things, I really enjoyed Natalie Portman. I think the Mighty Thor storyline is a good storyline to incorporate into this movie, but I think at the same time they really did it a disservice by kind of like what I said with Gore. It's just she's not, and then she is, and then she's still figuring out, but she's like, I want to see her journey a little more, and it's not as much about her journey as, you know, she's just needed to be there to give Thor someone to kind of go after. I think they could have used her character a lot better, but I do like Natalie in that role.
I'd agree with that.
I thought she was fine.
I just the problem is I never felt the emotional weight of her circumstance.
Oh yeah,
because they undercut everything.
Yep. Bingo,
for sure. And that's what I more mean when I say it could have been better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Any other positives?
I'm trying to think of something that isn't a spoiler.
Hemsworth is always fun to watch. I think he has good command of the screen. But I think this is probably some of the weakest dialogue and character action he's been given.
I didn't have fun watching him. I'm sorry, I did not have fun watching this movie. The only time I was any kind of interested...
Why are you apologizing to me?
...was Bale.
Yeah, apologize to me, you freaking hater.
So you were the hater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, the only time I was remotely interested is if Bale was on the screen. Otherwise, I didn't really have any interest. I was pretty bored.
I was so up and down with him the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, I'd laugh, and then it would just keep going and become not funny. I'd just be like, okay, let's keep going, and he'd still be going.
Yeah.
And that just felt like every character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every character is just a rambling fountain of comedy.
Does it feel like a parody of a Marvel movie to you guys?
No.
It's kind of what Johns was saying.
It just felt... It didn't feel like a parody of a Marvel movie. It just felt like a parody of anything. Any generic thing. I don't know how to explain
parody.
it.
We'll just go with that.
You know what it kind of reminded me of someone who was...
I would say more...
Sitting down... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say more of a parody of rom-coms. Because it's more a rom-com than anything else.
Yeah.
And rom-com is... the worst genre. But in its, I don't even want to call it satire. In its attempt to be a parody, it failed.
It's not a satire.
Because I feel like a parody is supposed to be funny.
Sure.
It's supposed to make you go, that is dumb. I
thought the jokes were very hit or miss, and mostly miss. I thought there were a couple good ones here and there. I think most of the good ones were probably used in the trailer.
And I think if you have, 1,500 plus jokes in a 2-hour movie, you're bound to hit on a few.
Sure. Oh yeah. Quality. When you throw that much at the page, I do kind of feel like this is. So a little earlier in the show, I talked about how it's. I think Marvel's trying to do this balancing act of make it fit their formula, but let directors do their thing. And I think where that's most obvious here is like Taika is a comedy guy. He does, like, he came up in the comedy scene.
Yeah.
And it just kind of seems like they said, what do you want to do? It has to kind of fit this structure, and we need to incorporate, a couple big bads and some tie-ins with other things. But, like, it really just felt like he wrote 100 jokes, and we're like, okay, let's how do we make this work?
Yeah. And maybe this will just be me. I really liked Ragnarok. And to me, is because that movie was funny, but it also had the emotional stuff. And when you can combine those two things together, it can make it hit really hard. That's why I love Scrubs. Love it. I think it's why Jojo Rabbit's his best movie. It's because that movie's funny, and then it rips your freaking heart out. But it just didn't have either one of those working for it. so it just everything falls flat.
The other thing about this movie is that the reported budget is $250 million.
How did we get to this? Like I'm it must be just because they know they're gonna make it back.
That's all I can think of. But like at the same time, like if you know you have at $250 million, like that's an unlimited budget. Like, sorry, it practically is. Even with inflation in Hollywood.
Why if for some reason I'm just sitting here thinking like they were just making the movie and they didn't, maybe this is what you mean, an infinite budget. They just made it and didn't give them a limit. Yeah. They just said just go out and do whatever.
Yeah.
And they didn't say you have $200 million, make sure you put it where you need to.
So
make sure to put 175 in special effects.
Well, my guess is it was probably a $175 to $200 million movie was the initial contract, and my guess is movies always go over. Always. Very rarely do they not.
Fun fact, a lot of the reasons why studios, I don't know if this is true, I heard this. One of the reasons studios like working with Michael Bay is because he always goes in under budget.
I've heard that too.
Which is extremely impressive.
But I think smaller budgets force people to be more creative.
That's why the first Deadpool's so good.
If you only have X amount of money, you have to think of ways to get around, we'll just CG it.
We'll fix it in post.
Or we'll fix it. We'll do reshoots, right? We'll it doesn't really work now, but we'll fix it with some reshoots and whatever.
We can have some intern over at that random VFX store just work on it for 3 hours. Because it's easy, right?
It just kind of feels like in this movie they shot probably just a ton of stuff because they could. They had the budget for it, and then they're like, we'll pick what we like the best. Which is how a sketch show is made, but this isn't a sketch show. This is a...
And lots has been coming out about how lots of improv was used.
And improv,
which I feel like supports that.
Improv's not bad, but it can get you in trouble. You look at Solo. Solo was shot almost like with that idea in mind that like we're gonna improv things, and it turns out like that cast wasn't great at improv, and so you fire your writer directors and bring in Ron Howard to try and fix it. But what other negatives do you want to talk about before we jump into spoilers? I think we've covered the positives.
Just say CG. It's my note is CG, which is becoming a con for all Marvel movies and series now because it's shot in the volume or on a soundstage.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah,
I feel like every time we're talking about the same things. Like, man, the jokes aren't landing. The CG is, sometimes it looks great. Like the Shadow Realm looks awesome.
Yep.
And I'd say even the last battle looks pretty good for the most part. I also can't really remember it because I was pretty checked out.
I was just getting ready to ask you what was the last battle.
The bunny.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's just every single movie we're talking about how these shots look so bad.
Yeah, and I think it's been accentuated for me after watching The Northman. And then even we were watching the trailer for The Woman King earlier, and I was like, oh, look, they're outside.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, those things are so noticeable to me now. And it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
When you see, like, actors post a behind-the-scenes photo, and it's them standing in front of a green screen, you're like, oh, okay. Cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I get green screen's cool, and, like, what VFX artists can do these days is amazing, but there's just something about watching a movie that's shot outside that just makes it feel so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or on a set. Yeah.
And, like, it's been interesting this week, too. A lot of VFX artists this past week have been kind of fighting back against Marvel, just saying, like, we're done working on your stuff. You barely pay us for the amount of work we put in. It doesn't look good because we don't have enough time. And then we just kind of take the blame for it because people just go, the CG looks bad. Mm-hmm. And that's us doing it. There's like, we're kind of Like, lots of people have been requesting not to work on Marvel projects.
Yeah, it's interesting.
They don't use part of their $250 million budget to pay VFX artists.
Or, you know,
your actors
the extra 6 months they added to the movie because of the pandemic.
Right.
Like, what was going on during that time? Filming more improv?
The only other con I'll mention here is I just don't like Thor anymore. I just don't like where he is as a character. I don't enjoy it.
He's become
a
very dumb character.
He's just stupid. He's an idiot.
Is that this movie specifically, or
it started in Ragnarok and now it's in this movie?
I disagree.
How did you? Okay,
I'd say it would start a little in Endgame and blast it off in this movie.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Ragnarok, I felt like he was dealing with something, and this was his veil.
That was the veil.
And that it might be because of Infinity War. Infinity War is the best Thor movie we've gotten.
Yes. 100% agree.
And he was like that in Infinity War 2 until he's talking to the Guardians and he's like, I've freaking lost everything. And then the other side of Thor came out where he shows up in Mr. Olympia style and goes into Wakanda and kills everybody.
Dude, I wish the scene, where he talks to Rocket was in Ragnarok, because I think that makes Ragnarok a better movie.
Yeah.
It would have fixed Ragnarok for me if we just had that 3-minute scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels interesting because the kind of the last 2 arcs we have had with Thor, which would be chronologically it's Ragnarok first. I guess don't release 2, but where he's dealing with the loss of his father. And just kind of that family drama. And then in Infinity War, it's his mom, and I mean it's still kind of that.
I mean he loses Loki Heimdall and a lot of his people.
At the end of Ragnarok, so it does kind of continue that, but then Endgame, I lost the fight, right? So I lost my and then he really loses his way. And I kind of felt like by the end of that, we had done that enough.
We have achieved development.
Here we go again, just kind of resetting him for the sake of
his jokes.
I think comedy, yeah, which I was not. I wasn't pleased with. You don't have to.
He's just.
You don't have to make a movie
stupid.
to please me, but whatever.
He's stupid, and I've heard people say like he's more of a d-bag than before the first Thor, which. His first arc in the first Thor is like, don't be a d-bag, pretty much.
Yeah.
Whatever. Maybe that's going to be the theme for Phase 4 going forward. We're going to ignore past character development because that was one of my biggest issues with Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
It's like, remember that arc he had? Neither did we.
Other stuff is kind of spoilery. So.
I will also mention that I think Luke had said this walking out of the theater, or we stood up. And
Stormbreaker?
Like, no.
Oh.
The
soundtrack.
Another mediocre soundtrack, Marvel soundtrack from Giacchino, which is super disappointing because Giacchino does good work.
Even just like
good thing the Batman's great.
I think he's spread too thin.
Yeah,
and
he does so.
He worked on the
much.
Batman for like 2 years though.
Yeah,
that's true.
Even the use of the Guns N' Roses, like I love the songs, but they're just like felt thrown in. It was fine.
They got a joke out of it.
There's so many well used licensed music moments in media now.
Yeah.
Like James Gunn and Edgar Wright are like pros at it.
Mm-hmm.
We just had Stranger Things.
I was gonna say
we just had the Umbrella
too,
Academy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. It wasn't bad, but
it leaves a lot to be desired.
It goes back to my original review. It was fine.
Yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
When you see Giacchino, you get excited.
Yeah.
Well,
lately,
I used to.
It's not feeling that way.
All right.
Should we give our ratings?
Let's give our ratings, and then we'll talk spoilers here for a bit. I give this a Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. I give it a Matthew McConaughey, a low one. I feel like if I would think about this movie more, I would move it down. But
Sure.
I've just not thought about it
Yeah.
until now, really.
Yeah, it's a straight to streaming.
Yeah.
I contemplated a dumpster fire for it, but
Oh,
I just
wait.
can't.
It's a dumpster fire because it's a 1 out of a 2. No, it's about it. It's a low amount of content.
Yeah, it's a low straight to streaming. I'm not gonna do that. It's straight
It's
to streaming.
the worst movie you've ever seen.
No.
Oh.
No. It's pretty on par with Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's written slightly better, I guess.
Yeah, I think I would rather watch this than Multiverse.
I see what they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are some things in this movie where they really are trying to, like, have a message. It's just all covered up.
We'll talk about that message here in spoilers in a moment. So spoilers. We're gonna transition to spoilers now. So if you haven't seen it, goodbye. Thanks for tuning in.
We appreciate
I love that
you.
that's an emoji now. The salute.
The salute. Yeah. So you talked about those through lines. I think the idea, and it goes back to even the title, because like the idea of him kind of adopting this kid, I think it's an interesting thing. But there's no like.
I hated the end of this movie. Oh my gosh.
It was executed so poorly. It's mentioned once that he's like, I wanted to start a family. But like that's not anywhere in his character anywhere else, and it's not even a proper theme in the movie.
Well, I think what they were going for is like it harkens back to, and again they don't do this, but his parents taking in Loki.
Sure.
But like they don't tie that
They don't
together
talk about it at all.
The only Loki reference in the whole movie is his tattoo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Loki still got more screen time than Sif.
Yeah,
Not really.
Not really.
But
kind of.
I'm gonna make that joke every time I can.
Please
Poor
do.
Sif.
Please continue to.
Poor Sif.
That theme was just so. It was there, but it's not. Like they don't flesh it out at all.
I understand how they came to the conclusion, and I like at the end of the movie, in the finale, that decision and the fact that like Gore makes this choice, because yes, Luke.
Did he? Or was he just corrupted by the sword?
Honest
question.
Well,
honest question.
Villains can't be bad, remember?
Oh yeah, not with Disney.
Not with Disney.
Villains aren't allowed to be bad. They have to make some redeeming thing at the end.
Yeah.
If he was corrupted, it like ruins Gore for me almost. I want a bad guy, man.
The pause before man really sold that for me. Thank you.
The series of choices, again, these are some of the only choices in this movie that are made, with shoot, why did I forget Natalie Portman's character's name?
Jane.
With Jane deciding that, helping Thor was worth
because
her life.
Hemsworth and her have the chemistry of a wooden block and a stone?
Probably.
Yeah.
And Gore's decision to then change his wish.
Wooden block and a stone is funny.
And then Thor's decision to adopt the daughter. I like that theme. I don't think it's executed all that well. But as a kind of finale, I liked it. Better than Rey Skywalker.
What theme in this movie is executed well?
I don't think there is one.
Leaving my hand up until
No. You're not here to. You're not even get me on that because I don't. Luke wants another high five.
No, Luke, go ahead.
Oh,
the last two Marvel movies have both had a if you reach this thing, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be stepping out.
Super dumb.
It's my favorite MacGuffin ever.
Yeah, I was not thrilled when I learned what Eternity was.
At least this one was visually cool looking. Like the galaxy in a person.
It'll give me what I need to defeat them. I need to get to this place because it'll give me what I want. Oh, all right.
I would like one cheeseburger.
Can we go 3 for 3 on the next one?
I would like.
Oh no!
I would like Thanos to have never.
I didn't
existed.
think about that until after I said it.
It might happen for some reason. I feel like they're gonna touch Namor's swim trunks. Wish her anything. Wish the swim trunks were not so tight. Anyway,
so one of my cons that I wanted to talk about was and I can't remember what the name of the city is called, but wherever Zeus lives, just that
Omnipotent City.
Yeah, Omnipotent City. Zeus sucks. That was not fun.
The only bit I kind of liked from it was that, and it was I thought it was one of the good jokes in the movie. Was when they were talking about how thunder and lightning.
Oh yeah.
Were you gonna punch me? I tried to high five you.
No,
He was gonna punch you.
He was gonna punch me.
He's gonna punch you. So you're the oh yeah bros, and we're the bros. We're just bros.
Umbro is a soccer brand.
Pay us, nerds.
Yeah, no.
This episode brought to you by Umbro.
I think.
Gotta see his butt.
He was very proud of that moment, actually. Dude, he looks freaking huge for this Hulk Hogan movie still.
Oh,
when they were,
Chris Hemsworth?
He was starting the training for it, I'm assuming, because he looks monstrous.
I'm pretty sure his arms are thicker than my waist.
They might be.
He should play the Hulk.
Hogan.
Oh. Both Hulks.
Ooh.
Just Lou Ferrigno it, just paint him green. And
yeah.
Yeah,
keep the blonde eyebrows.
I will agree, though, that I think the Omnipotent City stuff was not... I was expecting something more along the lines of the the celestial thing in Guardians 1, but it wasn't personal at all. It didn't grow their characters. I guess Thor figured out Zeus shouldn't be his hero.
Never meet your heroes.
I don't think that was worth it. And yeah, I too did not appreciate. I didn't like Russell Crowe's portrayal. I get that I think that's attempting to be kind of parody-ish, but I don't think it worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just an excuse to get a couple orgy jokes in there.
And a casting. Who's also a comic actor in the casting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said this after the movie. I think this is like the 4th post-credit scene in a row. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't care. That they've done a casting announcement in a post-credit scene. Where before they would just show Thanos is there, but they wouldn't put the actor there.
Well,
I just feel like it's risky.
And it's just weird, too. Feige's kind of been talking about we're going to reveal who the next big bad is soon. And they just aren't doing that. They're not really giving us anything to go on. It just feels like we're at the point where we're just throwing things at walls and seeing what sticks. And
it's probably Wanda.
There's just no direction, I feel like, for Phase 4. I don't think... They know what they want to do, but it doesn't feel like it when you watch everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like they have a plan right now. And it's just a weird place to be.
Hey, they still haven't referenced the big celestial head on Earth.
Not yet.
And I feel like that's something Thor could deal with.
It's never going to happen. They're not going to address it.
I just want somebody to be like, bro, that big old head in the Indian Ocean, that's crazy. Anyway, let's go to the Shadow Realm.
Or just have it on a news feed in the background or something.
No, we got to spend more time revisiting bits on Matt Damon in a play.
Did we need that?
Nope.
Did we really need that?
No.
Nope.
And then you add in just the worst extra cameo in that scene.
Okay, hold on. I have a question. What is the purpose of her being there? Is the joke it being that actress? Or is it because Cate Blanchett is a attractive woman by normal standards, I'd say. And she is a larger woman.
Melissa McCarthy.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that the joke? Because I'm not feeling either one of those.
No,
neither one is funny.
Both of them are not good.
I don't know.
Also, I think she's a terrible actress.
The only thing I can think of, the only thing I can think of is if people consider Cate Blanchett to be this top tier actress, and Melissa McCarthy is not. Like, that could be a self-deprecating joke that's not horrible.
It would have been really funny.
But I don't think it works.
It would have been really funny if they would have just gotten Kate Blanchett.
Come back and play.
And she's wearing this like crappy hella cosplay.
That would have been so much better. No, the one bit that I did like was them not on the stage, but in the like community center, being like,
should we write something
about this? Like, I thought that bit was funny.
I thought that was pretty good.
I just thought that was going to be the post-credit scene. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, cool, now we're setting up post-credit scenes. Great. They didn't do it. But
they got to save it for Thor 5.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It'll be in...
I did hear that the little tagline that Thor will return was a surprise to both Taika and Chris Hemsworth.
Great. Well, it might not be a Thor 5, though. It could just be Avengers.
No, yeah, it's
6.
true, but it sounds like maybe he hasn't signed a new contract.
Well, they got Natalie Portman if they need her, so...
No, she's dead.
Well, let's talk about that. One of the things that we talk about a lot of things I dislike in this movie, but so I liked the sacrifice of Mighty Thor at the very end, and I felt like it was undercut by the scene of her and Heimdall in Valhalla, because it feels like there's less finality to it.
It wasn't because of the awful wig Idris was wearing?
No, it was bad though.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
It was pretty rough, but it felt more like a, hey, we'll get to see these characters again, not like a final send-off kind of moment. I don't know how you guys felt about that.
I don't know how you... Here's my issue with it. Why should I care about Jane now?
Sure.
Like, we've gone through so much with Thor. So much. And to have a sacrificial moment be by the character who came back probably reluctantly, it to me just was like, oh, okay. I like Mighty Thor. I like the character, but like, why?
Yeah.
I thought we were transitioning to new heroes, and we're just gonna keep Hemsworth around, I guess. It's just I don't know. It was just a weird choice to me. I didn't feel like her character earned the sacrificial moment. I feel like Thor should have that.
Yeah. No, I think that could have been...
In a story about a guy trying to kill gods, we killed the human person who Thor tried to protect.
I'm sure even more of the internet would hate this than how it is feeling about this movie. But I think it would have been a really interesting Thor Love and Thunder movie to have Jane's, kind of story. We established maybe early on that she wishes she could have family, but now because of the chemo and her, how long she spent, dedicated to her career, she doesn't feel like she can have that. And then at the end of the movie, you have Thor make that sacrifice. She can be the adopt love, and then turns out the movie's actually about Mighty Thor, titled Thor Love and Thunder. It's actually about them two, and then we get a new Thor moving forward if they want to continue that storyline. I think that could have been really interesting.
I would have probably enjoyed that a little bit more, even though I didn't. Portman was anything to write home about, but
I just don't put any credence on any post-credit scenes anymore.
Yeah,
I feel like they don't actually matter. Remember when Mordo was gonna take everybody's powers away? Yeah, he was great as the main villain in Doctor Strange too. Oh wait, it's barely in it. I feel like this should have been a lot of things. It should have been a Thor transferring to Beta Ray Bill movie, or a Jane Foster taking the mantle movie.
So we are all in agreement that Thor should have been passing the mantle on to someone.
Yes.
I think so.
Or even just...
Agreed, Lepke. Sorry.
Man, I loved Korg and Ragnarok and even in in-game a little bit.
Wisely and sparingly.
He's great, but in this, he's everywhere, and I feel like his character could have been replaced with like introducing a Beta Ray Bill, and you can have him move forward, or I don't know, maybe a character that's been sidelined throughout the entire MCU, Sif, who is a joke in this movie with, oh, you're not gonna go to Valhalla because your arm only got cut off,
but your arm might be there.
Like, oh, that was great.
Yeah.
And then she's just done the rest of the movie. It's like, okay.
Yeah, as soon as I heard the first of 3 or 4 voiceovers from Korg, I was concerned. I
trying to find that Michael Pena.
I don't know.
Squeeze that again.
I would have rather had Michael Pena in this movie.
Me too.
His
moments are way cooler.
Ant-Man 3 is coming out next year, baby.
Yeah. It feels like, I know that Taika didn't write this by himself. It feels like a director indulging himself a little bit with giving himself a character that's there throughout the entire movie, has all of the like narration.
Can't die.
Let's just focus on directing. And if you want a cameo, you can have a cameo.
Gosh, he looks so cool.
Okay, this is another question I have. And hopefully we get comments on this video too, so people can let me know, because I'm also too lazy to look it up. Can anybody hold Stormbreaker?
Kind of feels that way.
Because one of the big things with... I guess I just don't know the full story with Beta Ray Bill. That's on me. He's worthy. Mm-hmm. Like, he can pick up Mjolnir. So I didn't know, though, if he was... Like, he picks up Stormbreaker, and he's like, I have the power to also pick up this. Because, like, even, like, Christian Bale's walking around with Stormbreaker, loves carrying Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
Little kids were carrying Stormbreaker. It's just like, I guess I just implanted that into my own mind.
Different rules for different weapons, probably. Yeah. In the chat, Lepke brought up Mighty Thor's Mjolnir was pretty sweet, and I would agree.
I'd agree.
Actually, the whole...
Cool.
Something that was a plus that we didn't mention earlier, probably because of slight spoilers, was how those, especially Stormbreaker, seemed to be more of a character this time. So the fact that Thor's like, Mulder, and then there's like this,
it's like a live triangle.
Love triangle. I thought that was done just enough. It wasn't overdone, in my mind.
I think it went on a little long because they're kind of still doing it at the end too. I think it would have been a good, like, we do it here and here, and just not all the way throughout. Like, we have another love thing that we're dealing with too.
Yeah.
JT says, Stormbreaker?
Stormbreaker
isn't enchanted.
Okay,
like
thank you, JT. I was not sure. So, okay, Beta Ray Bill must pick up.
It's enchanted with the ability to summon the Bifrost.
Okay.
That's what's special about it.
So Beta Ray Bill must be worthy and pick up Mjolnir, and Thor's like, oh, take this axe instead.
We should talk about the final fight real quick. We kind of alluded to it earlier in our non-spoilers, but...
When Thor can give his powers to anybody?
Thor can... Yeah. I thought that was...
Okay, so there's two moments... Sorry. There's two moments in this movie where they could have very easily... I was going to say this earlier about Jane. Mm-hmm. When we were talking about sacrifices, they could have just made her stay as Mighty Thor and like Black Adam'd her character to where like she can never transfer back into Jane. And then this moment, I was like, oh, it's the Shazamly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're just doing that, so it's like, oh, this is weird. Like I don't know, they could have done that twice. Mm-hmm. They only did it once.
Yeah, I don't think. Ultimately, I thought the kids fighting was kind of fun, but not needed. In my version of this movie, I don't think the shadow monsters are even a thing.
No.
I
didn't think they looked good.
I think Gore shows up, does his thing.
Wrecks everybody.
Wrecks house. He's the thing to be feared, and then he zips away. I'm sure there's comic history that makes the shadow monsters relevant, and whatever, we gotta stay true to the comics. So
it's like the 7 deadly sins from Shazam.
those were done better.
I would agree.
Helps when the movie's better.
They actually had
also true
points. Yeah, but I did think the teddy bear was awesome.
Yeah,
the teddy bear was pretty funny.
I leaned over to Luke when like the powers, like the lightning went around the room. I was like,
yeah.
Luke, the bunny's eyes were glowing. He's like, what? It's like the bunny's eyes are glowing. I was getting pretty excited for that. And then to actually see it get used was great.
It did feel like a little bit of a capper for the kids because they were kind of this driving plot point where we kind of visited them a couple times and finally they got their moment. I didn't feel like it went on too long.
You mean
the main focus of the fight was with Gore and the Thors. So
you mean the moment wasn't when Axel said his name is Axel because he likes Guns N' Roses?
No.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah. Well,
what else do I got on here so we can?
I don't have any. I don't need to talk about anything.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about this, but the Guardians, like, we didn't really need them in this movie. It just felt like they were just kind of there for more jokes, and because Thor ended up with them.
Yeah.
It was just weird. Like, I don't know. Sure, I guess.
I did not like the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
it's a necessity because of where they put Thor as a character.
Right.
Because they've made him this
space Viking. They tell you it 47 times in the movie.
Well, but he's this kind of depressed guy who doesn't really bumbling idiot who, again, all of the character development has been reset, and he needs someone to tag along with. And because he was with the Guardians at the end, it makes sense for him to be there now. I think you could have, if you didn't have his character be like that, if you write the character better, air quotes, because I don't know how I would do it, but I would try. He doesn't need to be with them. You can have one scene where it's them dropping him off somewhere.
With Sif.
Yeah.
I'm really just upset that they don't know what to do with her.
They pay her, though.
Yeah, she got fourth billing.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats, Jamie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they
honestly, you earned it for all you had to put up with, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I just didn't enjoy that. I get again why they're there, but we spent too much time with them.
Yeah.
I think my last con is I don't understand the traveling rules that they kept changing. I felt like oh, we can't use the Bifrost. We can't use the lightning bolt.
Oh.
It's what's the dealio here?
Unknown.
Stormbreaker isn't strong enough. Oh, but he is now.
Well, he wasn't because of the love triangle. He was angry at Thor.
Ugh.
Okay, now
completely ruined it
now
for me.
that you've mentioned that,
yeah,
the joke went on too long.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah,
I retract my earlier statement. The joke went on
the
too long.
The only one I really chuckled at was when Stormbreaker kind of just creeps into the frame.
The comedic timing of that moment was great.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was good.
That was Taika comedy at a good point in the movie. Goats? Do we want to talk about the goats?
Oh, no.
No. Wait, Christian Bale? We already talked about him.
We did talk
he
about
was
the
fantastic. Goat. Gore's cool. No, the Necrosword is not tied to Venom. You crazy people on the internet.
The exposition in the first 5 minutes of the movie was hilarious. Not because it was funny, because it was just so much exposition.
Oh.
Christian Bale, here's the Necrosword. Here's your mission. Should you choose to accept it, this sword will explode and kill you at the end of this movie.
See, and a better movie would have given us a couple more scenes of him just doing it and not show, don't tell.
They also would have made the parallel of Thor killing Zeus.
Yeah, that
mean something.
Could have been cool.
But that parallel was just kind of there in your mind if you choose to see it.
I wish there would have been a scene.
The gods are kind of
dicks. Yeah.
So maybe they deserve to die.
The omnipotent city, whatever it's called, should have been a scene like the church in Kingsman,
where Gore shows up and just wrecks people.
Yes,
that's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
I was sitting there and I was like, dude, is this going
to? You can even copy it. Do a oneer, use Freebird,
Yeah, hey, why not? They used everything else.
That would have been so cool.
But then I guess
the potential.
I don't have anything else, but the Hercules casting at the end.
Yeah.
Brett Goldstein, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roy Kent from Ted Lasso.
Yeah, Ted Lasso. He's one of the writers, I believe. Sure, whatever. Thor 5 dealing with Hercules.
I'm excited for him.
He's gonna team up with Wanda and be the villain in Avengers.
Yeah, it just kind of, like you mentioned, it just kind of, where are we going?
They don't know.
Neither do we.
He's gonna team up with Mordo and steal magic.
Who was it that did that article like a few months back, and they were talking about? I think Variety had put it out. They were like, yeah, like Feige doesn't have like this big master plan like everybody thinks. Like everybody just kind of sits in a room and they say, yeah, we're doing that. They just do it.
Sounds about right.
That's what it feels like right now.
Well, and
remember they had that like 3-week planning period where they planned Phase 4. You guys remember that?
That's
no.
All out the window.
You don't remember that?
No.
I thought it was for Phase 5.
They had like a conference.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, that was for 5. It was for the next 10 years of Marvel.
Oh,
that's
what they said.
Yeah. No.
Is Phase 4 just the intermission phase where we're going, we still need to make money making these movies, and then in Phase 5 we'll get back to the actual storytelling? They'll just go back and fix all the development again.
When I think about Phase 3, I think of because the Russos had so much say over what was happening in the finale. I think that gave a lot of structure to the interconnectedness of the MCU at the time. And I just don't think they probably have that figured out yet. I think they're still kind of shooting from the hip, and they got away with it early in the MCU. Because we hadn't felt that interconnectedness already, but now that we've felt it, when it feels askew, it feels wrong. It feels off. So, you get a new TV there, Tyler? Tyler's moved on. He's shopping, online shopping.
Sorry,
now.
It's Prime Day, baby.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I want to quickly, let's see. We have a couple comments. One tweet reply that I loved to my retweet of our episode here was that this was a terrible movie. Had a great time. Would watch again.
Who said that?
Zach. You don't know him. But like, I think people understand that it's
not very good.
Not very good. But if you like the jokes.
Much like I haven't rewatched Ragnarok, I probably won't rewatch this one.
Yeah.
I'll watch Infinity War instead.
My brother-in-law, Danny, gives us our Fanbox question for the night.
Nice. Are you still excited for Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie? Is that his question?
That's not, but we can address that real quick.
No. My answer.
No is mine as well. What's his question?
I'm very nervous now. He just wants us to rank the Thor movies.
Okay.
Thor in title movies? So like Infinity War is not one of them? Or
right.
movies with Thor in them?
No, the 4
I'm not doing
Thor
that. That's
movies.
too many.
The 4 Thor movies.
Ragnarok. Love and Thunder and Thor One Tide. And then way down on the floor is The Dark World. I don't know which one I like more of Thor 1 and Love and Thunder, honestly. They're right next to each other on my rankings list.
I don't like any of them.
You don't have to like. They can all be like in the.
No, but I want to rank them in order because
which
that's
one
the question.
You have to watch one. Which one are you watching?
The only one I've watched more than once, so I guess Thor 1.
Okay, so Thor 1.
Yeah, Thor 1, and then I guess Ragnarok, then Love and Thunder, and then The Dark World. Because The Dark World's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Oh, no.
The movie has like a 78%.
I kind of just want to look. If I wasn't a nicer person, I would like really lean into the joke that Dark World's my favorite Thor movie, but I can't do it.
Critics like it.
Straight
it's
face.
got almost an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't think it's at 80.
I said almost 80.
I think I'm probably with Luke. I think it's Ragnarok, Thor 1.
Oh, 66. I apologize.
You freaking liar.
75% audience.
You are a liar, pants on fire.
Mixed up my numbers.
I'm going to need to go to Extinguisher to douse your shorts because they're inflamed.
Yeah, hey, I got to explain to somebody how Rotten Tomatoes works at work.
Ragnarok, Thor, Love and Thunder, Dark World. Yeah. Yeah.
Those Kenneth Branagh Dutch angles, man. They just hit different.
They do.
Caught my neck when I did
Heard that.
Over in the chat, Nick says that he saw this trend going on Twitter, and so many people were putting Dark World as their favorite. That's...
Were they also the gentle minion crowd?
Oh, could be. There, the internet be full of trolls.
My favorite part about this view... So, I have another pro for this movie.
Oh, yeah.
The Jimmy John's Luke and I had prior was really good.
I never had Jimmy John's, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Secondly, Lepke texted me after he saw it, because he saw it Thursday. And he was like, I just got out of Thor. And I was like, his review was, eh. That's all he sent me. And I said, oh, how'd you like it? And he goes, eh, ... You're not going to like it. And I was like, oh, man. And so, like, my expectations were really low going in, watching it. Hey, he was right. No. Is it almost as low as The Dark World?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
For what?
Thor Love and Thunder is currently at 67%. Critic score.
What's the audience?
Average 6.6 out of 10.
What's the audience?
81%. Which, honestly, is pretty low for a Marvel movie.
Yeah, and it was getting a B+ cinema score. And most of the Marvel movies get A's. So, like, B+ is still good in the world of cinema, but, like, that's low for a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So
I'm starting to join the crowd of people that agree with Martin Scorsese. It's like, yeah, these are theme park rides. I didn't like this one.
I think we're just getting old.
Well,
I think you might be right.
There may be a combination of things, but I also think some of it has to do with how much we get. The quantity of stuff.
Bro, I rode the same roller coaster 8 times in a row. It was the Mamba at Worlds of Fun. I got off and I got back on.
It's a 30-second ride.
It lasts like a solid minute.
That's what the movies are now.
But
30-second rides compared to the shows.
But there was no wait. So
I just think,
man, I love roller coasters.
I think part of the problem or challenge that the MCU has not figured out is when you release 3 to 4 movies a year
and 3 to 4 TV shows.
And 3 to 4 and now with the TV shows, like, how do you make them feel special? For us, they're not anymore. And there's less pressure on it being there's less pressure on it being really, really good to make its money back because they have that guaranteed $100 million opening or whatever it is. I mean, they would have to bomb a movie for it to not.
They never will.
I don't think. Yeah, no, I think
it's too big to fail now.
I think it's too big to fail.
I'm really curious the legs this one will have.
Hey, question. What was the line? Sorry, we're still talking Marvel, but we're going sideways here. What was the line Vision said in WandaVision? Is it grief that what is grief?
What is love but grief persevering?
No, what is
grief
but
love
persevering, right?
Yeah, I've heard it both ways.
So, like, did they forget that line was
Dude,
so
that's
popular?
the greatest line that's ever written in cinematic and television history.
It's so funny though because
bro, they don't remember what came out a week ago on their last TV show episode.
Like, it's so interesting.
Well,
They have that line, and they're like, grief is love persevering, and then Wanda just goes off the rails after that realization. It's like, what? I guess her love for her children persevered? I don't know. And
persevered to murder? Murder. I'll fucking do it again.
So that's my ranking. Sorry.
No, it's all good. All good. Chaos.
Murder.
We wouldn't be able to end a 2-hour podcast without a little chaos.
Can we spend 2 hours talking about something good next time?
Let's do it.
This movie effing sucks.
What comes out next week?
Nothing.
Yeah, Nope.
Nope comes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When's Gray Man
No,
coming out?
I'm in Denver for a movie. Oh, next week is never mind. It's Nope. Yeah. Upcoming movies.
Okay. Well,
New movies,
hopefully we have some more positive things to talk about next week.
I'm out of town.
I'm sure we will. So.
Oh, Paws of Fury.
I will watch
The Legend
something
of
good
Hank.
just so that we
7-Eleven.
have something nice to say next week. But until then, I want to thank everyone for joining us on the stream. Thank you for watching this on YouTube. Thank you for listening to it on the podcast. You can always go to whatthefanboy.com to get all the links. And if you're wanting to subscribe to just the podcast, you can find those links over there. But until next time, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you.
Oh, the Gray Man is Friday.
What's up?